upon a time there lived a beautiful girl with blonde hair of silk and lips of rose. She was a princess and the most selfish, conceited person in the whole kingdom. One foggy gray day, an old traveler woman came to the castle doors seeking shelter and food for one night and morning. The princess, not wanting to have such ugliness in her castle, refused to give her refuge. The older woman, outraged by the selfishness the princess had shown a poor stranger, revealed her real self of an enchantress and cast a spell on the self-centered princess and turned her into a horrible-looking beast to the eyes of society. Only when she could convince a common man to fall in love with her will the spell on her and her castle be broken. With that, the enchantress disappeared and left a horrible-looking beast as a once beautiful princess with no hope of getting the spell broken. There was once a rich man with 3 children, 2 of those children being spoiled girls, and a nice hard-working boy who kept to himself named Brandon. Brandon, unlike his sisters, liked to help people. He helped the homeless, the disabled, the poor, anyone who he could help, he would help. He was also very handsome, unlike his sisters who were very selfish and ugly. One of the sisters gets very sick and she gives it to the other sister. The only medicine for what the sisters have is very far away. It will only be found inside a specific rare flower. They are deathly ill and will die if they do not get it or if they don't get it soon. The father and Brandon rush off on horses to find this rare medicine flower. They brutally travel through freezing cold snow continuously for hours. Brandon and his father come across a huge castle with a big tall gate surrounding it. Outside the castle is a bountiful garden with many different flowers. Father, I see it. I see the flower. Brandon abruptly stops his horse and waits for his father and the horse to catch up in that garden right there. Yes, good job, Brandon. Good eye, his father says as he hops off the tall horse. He bends over and picks an exotic orange and red flower to save his daughter's lives. As he picks a couple more and turns around to hop back on his horse, they hear, "Rah!" They jump out in fear and quickly look around. Then they hear, "What are you doing?" Terrified, the men are frozen and they don't say a word. Then they see a hideous, humongous beast charging towards them. Stunned by what they had just seen, they hear another horse galloping behind them. After a mile or so, he slows down and looks to see his father's horse without his father. As soon as he realizes this, he races back almost as fast as he raced before. Brandon gets back to the castle to find his father and the beast gone. He opens the tall black gates and bangs on the castle doors. "Where is my father?" Brandon yells as he bangs on the doors. Then the door swings open and he sees the horrible beast. "Are you a fool? Leave before you lose your life." "I will leave, but not until I have my father back." "Your father should not have been picking my flowers." "We need those flowers for my dying sisters. Please, we need to bring them flowers so they can live. Your father may leave if I get something in return." "Yes," begged Brandon, "anything. You must stay and be my prisoner forever." Brandon was hesitant, but he agreed. The beast threw Brandon's resistant father out of the door and grabbed Brandon by the shirt and threw him in the cold, dark cell. After this, the beast walks down the stairs and a chair is waiting. The beast sits on the chair and the chair walks over the table, where dinner is already served with a silver cover over. The candlestick walks over and uncovers the food for the beast to eat and says, Don't you think you should treat your guests better? After all, they may benefit you." The beast stopped to think, then quickly rushed upstairs and cleaned up a room and rushed to the cell. The beast then opened the cell and said, "I'll show you to your room." Brandon said no words, stood up, and followed the beast. As Brandon was walking down the hall, he passed the beast's room. He saw a pink and purple bed, elegant, with white desks and a brush and makeup on top. Brandon was shocked to find out maybe the Beast was a girl. The Beast and Brandon spent very much time together, growing very attached. One day the Beast was nowhere to be found. Brandon called for her and searched all around. He then found her lying lifeless on the library floor. He ran to her and fell beside her and began to tear up and say, "No, how did this happen, my love? You can't die. You just can't. I was to spend forever in this castle with you. I love you." Brandon gets up and turns his back to weep inside. "Wait, Brandon," he hears a very high angelic voice. He turns around to see a beautiful girl sitting where the Beast had died. He explains what had happened to her. Then they got married and lived happily ever after in the castle forever.